Well, yesterday we debuted our three-part series on payday lenders in Nebraska after two outlets in Scottsbluff closed. Today, we continue talking with PBC Executive Vice President Zach Karpf, who says that many in the financial industry view these loans as predatory in nature.
Now, in a personal opinion, that would be, I would characterize them as that because unfortunately the individuals that use those types of financial services products aren't as financially literate as others, and perhaps don't have as good of an understanding of the annual percentage rate and the cost of that borrowing, because it's presented in dollar terms. $15 per hundred, for example, is the fee, as opposed to $15 per hundred is an equivalent of X percentage rate, which is a very, very high cost of borrowing.
Now, there's also a ripple effect following the closure of these payday loan businesses, and those former customers cannot necessarily turn to local banks to get similar loans.
So yes, there would be a number of bank policies and also financial industry regulations that would prevent that from happening. Primarily, the requirement for us to calculate debt-to-income calculations that would indicate someone has the ability to pay this, and also just that business proposition of, is that the best use of the paperwork and someone's time and all of those things to do a loan for $400 or $500, for example. And so typically banks don't enter into that market. It's not to say they can't, but sometimes individuals that are partaking of those products aren't able to qualify for quote-unquote regular banking services, and so that's why they end up there.
He says the true essence of those payday loans were to help people out who had short-term emergencies, and while most banks cannot help these individuals out, there are other resources available.
For real emergencies, though, real cash emergencies, there are a number of programs. For example, one example is utility shutoffs. There are a number of government programs geared towards helping individuals that are about to have their utility shut off. And so true emergency situations, I believe there are alternative solutions for that. But for those small borrowing needs, really a lot of that would come from a different financial planning aspect, and making sure that individuals don't end up in those situations, because as you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and making sure that someone's individual budget is set up in a way where each paycheck does have enough net amount available to pay whatever the expenses are for that 2-week or 3-week period.
And coming up tomorrow, we wrap up this three-part series and what people can do now that many of these payday lenders are no longer in business.